Hey guys, welcome back to Juju's Journey. Today is Monday, May the 3rd. I spent the whole weekend in my pajamas, no plans, on purpose, and I don't even feel bad about it. So let's just jump right in. If you're new here, I'm Juju. My name's Angela. Juju's my nickname. My grandchildren call me Juju. My good friends call me Juju. And I've been Juju for many, many, many years, even before I became a grandmom. So I'm a widow. I'm 58 years old, and this is Juju's journey. This is my journey of being by my own, grieving, um, learning how to live by myself, learning how to budget by myself, learning how to set goals and try to make those happen on a very tight fixed income, all of the above. Everything. This is my channel to see growth, to, gradually grow. And this weekend, I decided on Thursday, I'm done. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I'm not making any plans. The only thing I did is go to my son's house yesterday for lunch. And that was on Sunday. So from Thursday until yesterday morning, I took a shower and put on new pajamas. Took a shower and put on new pajamas. And even today when I took my shower, I decided I'm not putting on makeup today. I even took the morning off. I didn't sleep good last night. But that's okay. I slept good over the weekend. Yeah, it was good. It was something I really needed. My children take such good care of me. And, I just had that birthday weekend. And so everybody kind of had to stop and make sure I felt special, which is so sweet. So, so sweet. And although I was invited to do all these things, I said, no, you need time to yourself. You just need time to yourself. Most widows don't live right next door to their children. Like, I could be doing everything by myself and only seeing my children every couple of months or so. They could all live in different states. I could just have weekly conversations on the telephone. But instead, I get to see my children, most of them on a daily basis, and I talk to them every single day. So I'm very lucky. And I'm grateful, very grateful. But what I am also aware of is that I do need time to myself. I don't need to have plans. Like, I need to know that you're good by yourself. You don't, even if I walk over for 45 minutes every evening and eat dinner, you've got to understand I also eat lunch with my daughter, both of my daughters every day. No, I can eat by myself. It was so funny because, I gave myself that birthday gift of DoorDash. So Friday, I ordered lunch. My son-in-law always works from home on Fridays. And I do try to leave them alone on weekends. But anyway, I ordered lunch. And then you got to understand, I took a shower and put my pajamas back on. And then later on that evening, I decided I was going to order groceries from the grocery store. Well, my freezer went out. We have two refrigerators in the garage. And, one of the freezers, I had all of my little frozen foods that you get, that you just heat up in the microwave. They're like steamable somethings. And like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I bought like 5 of them. So I would just have a little stash in my freezer so I could, on the weekends, I'd have something to pop in the microwave. But my indoor freezer is packed. I need to clean it out. I mean, I've got silly stuff in there, like tomatoes that I was going to can. I need to throw them away because they didn't come from last summer's garden. This is 2 summers ago. I need to get those out and throw them in the trash. I'll do that this weekend on Thursday. Well, Wednesday night, because trash pickup's on Thursday, to make some room in that freezer. But anyway, I was thinking, what can I get to eat? I don't have any room in that freezer. What am I going to do? And then I said, girl, you have a stove. You have pots, and you have pans, and you have an oven. You have a dishwasher. Y'all, I have not cooked since my husband died. And he passed away December 11th, 2024. You understand? My brain completely forgot that I could go cook me something. So I decided to get some groceries, not frozen food. I got some rice, I got some field peas, I got a carton of eggs, I got some milk, I got some butter. I can't remember what else I got, just a few little things. And I actually decided I was going to cook instead of having somebody else cook for me. Even if it was a frozen dinner, that heat up in the microwave. I mean, y'all, your brain can really do some silly stuff. But whenever I told myself in my head, girl, you have pots and pans, I'm like, you need to get back to reality. I'm telling you, it's hard. So, yeah, I decided over the weekend it was time to get back to reality. But I did. I had the best time with myself. I mean, some things really irk me. I'll go into that. But I rolled all of my change. That was on my Saturday night. I did that on Saturday night. That was my Saturday night entertainment. I rolled my change. I organized a few things. I watched a movie. I don't know, I just did stuff, bathed the dog, washed my linen on my bed, washed my quilt. I don't know, just piddled. I piddled all weekend, all by myself, and I liked it. It wasn't bad. I was lonely a few times, but whenever I got lonely, I just called my best friend, called my aunt. I was talking to my children throughout the weekend anyway. And we always do, like, all of the kids are on the phone at the same time. We do that merging. And so, yeah, it was like, we're all in our own homes, but we're still talking to each other for about an hour at a time. Even my son gets in on it. And so, yeah, I mean, I had a great weekend. I wasn't too lonely, and I had so much fun. But I'm going to tell you something that really got to me, okay? So, I'm 58 years old, and I have been out of work probably, like, I have not worked in over 10 years. And it was time for me to quit when I quit. I taught preschool at my church for 20 years. I taught Sunday school. I taught Wednesday GAs. I did Sunday nights. I did vacation Bible school. I did all of the things. I started not only preschool, but I was the director of an after-school care program that I started. And we had over 100 children that came through, the different children, on a weekly basis. And we had a summer camp. And the summer camp, I mean, field trips on a weekly basis. Every week we went somewhere with the older kids. And I planned and organized every single aspect of that from top to bottom. But I was very intermingled with the church. It got to a point where I don't know if it was the time. Like, I don't know if this was the time that society started failing us, in a sense. But it was just crazy that some things were going on that didn't seem, it didn't feel right. I didn't feel good anymore. When I drove up in the parking lot, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like it was part of a Christian ministry that I had always thought I was a part of. I felt more like it was a corporation and they could nickel and dime. Like they weren't, I didn't feel like they were putting God first. I thought they were putting other things first. And that comes with leadership too. And we did have like our deacons. He was the corporate vice president of a Fortune 500 company. So, it was run more like a business versus, he was, I don't even know what you call the head deacon. But anyway, I was a part of the church for many, 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 many years. But I got a bad taste in my mouth. And I quit going to church. I even put in my notice and decided it was time for me to stay at home. Like, if your heart's not in it and you don't feel good driving up in a parking lot, I just said it's time. Like, God knows when it's time for you to exit, right? And I didn't leave on bad terms. I just said it was time. And I'd gotten sick a couple of years earlier where I was really, really sick. So it's okay. I mean, like, I could go without anybody wondering why I left, But here's the thing. I'm still a member of the church. I've never moved my letter. Most of the people, well, some of the people, I mean, my children grew up together. We did things as mothers with our children together. I mean, you have friendships when your kids are little. You don't expect people to stay with you 24/7 friendships. You just have those friendships that are seasonal. Then you have the friendships that are lifetime. But then you have friendships or acquaintances. I'm sorry. I've got to use my back scratcher really quick. I know that was kind of whatever, but that's the best thing I ever received in my life. I know what it is. I just washed my hair, and I think I have, anyway. My hair comes out, when you wash it. And I have something that was tickling my back, because this is a loose shirt. And I think it's a stray hair that whenever I move my hair, it's kind of doing like this. So I have friendships that are going to be lifetime friendships. Like if you see them at Walmart or at a local restaurant, you're going to give each other a hug and you're going to legitimately ask, how have you been? And gosh, it's so good to see you. And it's going to come from your heart. Like you really mean it. And my daughter before she got married, we went downtown and had brunch. And then after, we met at this local bar. And you've got to understand, this is lunchtime, maybe. And we drank one beer, me and my daughter and her very best friend. Well, as far as brunch went, I had to hurry up and leave, and I didn't get to eat lunch. And so I met back with them at the other place. So I still have not eaten. And so whenever I left the place where we had one beer, I decided I was going to run through the Cookout, which is a fast food restaurant, because it was right there, and grab me something to eat and come home. But at this time, it's probably 3:30. And I was like, so whenever I drove into that parking lot, I saw the bar that my husband and I would go to. It's a bar and restaurant. And I said, gosh, I saw one car there, so I knew it was open. I said, I think I'm going to go there and have a beer and order lunch. And maybe I'll run into the owner. I haven't seen her in years. she's real sweet. Like, she reached out to me when my husband passed away. Personally, she did. And then the cook, he fed me all 3 pregnancies. I'd go up and drink my Sprite and sit on that bar stool while my husband was chit-chatting with the guys that went up every day on happy hour. And, we could only go once a month because of my husband's work schedule. And we would only go like once a week during that 1 week he was on first. And we would, but the cook, his name's Boo. And every time I see Boo, we give each other a hug. If I see him at Walmart, or if I see him at a gas station, or if I see him at a grocery store, just the normal places that you run into people, we always give each other a hug. And so when I went in by myself, of course I didn't know the new bartender or anything like that. She had no clue who I was, because I have not gone to this bar in well over 10 years since I got sick. Like, I haven't, I had a colostomy bag. I didn't go to the bar. You can't drink beer with a colostomy bag, FYI. Just know that. If you do, you better stay at home, is all I've got to say. But my whole point was, we just got out of the habit of going, but our children were older. We didn't need to get babysitters and go spend time being grown-ups instead of, sometimes you just want to escape for a few hours. And that's usually what we did. And so I went there, and there was only one guy at the end of the bar, and I sat over here, and I asked the waitress if, or the bartender, if Boo was working, and she said yes. And then I asked her if the owner, and I called her, I said, has she already been in for the day? And she said yes. And I said, darn, I'm sorry I missed her. I would have loved to have caught up with her. And then I said, well, do you mind asking Boo to come out for a minute? Nobody's in there ordering food. And so when Boo came out, he was so excited, and I jumped up, and he went running out from behind the bar, and we gave each other a hug. And I told him I came to get some of his, something that he always cooked for me. I said, I almost went to the cookout, and I said, heck no. If Boo's cooking, I'm going to come let him cook for me today. And he was so excited. And so I ordered a beer and ordered food. My daughter called, and I ordered her food, and she was going to meet me up there. But then the guy at the end of the bar said, I thought that was you. But when you jumped up and you were talking to Boo, I was like, yeah, that's... Anyway, it was one of my friend's husbands from church many years ago. And so we were chit-chatting. I was asking him about his, wife, and talking wonderful, of course, because she's a great woman. And he was saying that she's retired and that she's doing a lot of stuff with the youth at the church that I attended. And she took a sabbatical from church during those 20 years. So we were going strong there together when our kids were little, and then she left, and I never saw her probably for 16 years at church. But now she's back, which is good. And she's involved in the children's ministries, which is wonderful, because she's a school teacher, and she's retired, and she's an excellent school teacher. And I just said, oh, if, does Renee ever come out with you? And he's like, every now and again. And I said, well, tell her to give me a call. I'll come up here and sit with her if she doesn't want to come by herself. I said, I don't have a problem coming and having a midday toddy, like about 3 or 4. I said, I'm, probably not going to be out here at night, but unless I've got, my family with me. But, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with me being there at night either. It's not like a honky-tonk. And, but I would be more afraid of, I wouldn't drink more than 1 or 2 beers and then drive around the block to my house going 20, but I'm not going to go out at night and drink more and not have a ride home, And I don't have people that I can really call to give me a ride home except for my children. So, yeah, they would have to be with me because they'd be my ride. that's not what I want to do. But anyway, so we were talking, and I said, please tell her I asked about her. I said, I'm so glad. I know she's happy retiring, and I know y'all love those grandbabies. Everything was focused like that. Well, last Wednesday, before I took my Thursday sabbatical, not sabbatical, but my hiatus from life, I get a message from her on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Hey, this is so-and-so. My husband, she said his name, said he ran into you a couple of weeks ago. Well, yeah, it was already April 29th. He ran into me February? Yeah, he ran into me February. So we had a little bit of February, the whole month of March, and the whole month of April. And she's just now thinking about me. But the reason she was thinking about me is because of my birthday. And I promise you, I have so many Facebook friends just because of networking. I honestly get over 500 happy birthdays every year. One year I think I got up to like 800 and something, 700 and something. And she said, I don't know, I saw something about you the other day. Never remembered that it was my birthday. And of course, that's where I popped into her head because she saw it on Facebook, all these happy birthdays probably. And I just thought, she said, hey, this is so-and-so, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. And so she said, send me your number, because I don't normally answer from numbers I don't know. So I messaged her just off of my telephone, so therefore she'd have my phone number. And I just said, this is Angela. And then immediately, I'm in the car pickup line picking up my granddaughter. Immediately, right time I sent that message, she called me. Sweet. I was so excited to hear from her. Asked her how she was doing. She asked me how I was doing. And then she said that she was over, like their prayer group meets every now and again. They were going to have an ice cream social, and she would really love me to attend. And I said, First of all, she said, we would love to have you back at church. What would it take for us to get you back? And I said, I just don't know if I can go back to that church. I said, I visited some churches. And I said, but, I think my next church is going to be somewhere different. I said, I made a lot of wonderful friends there, but I just don't feel like that's my church. And that's okay. I'm not, I wasn't there to talk bad about the church. And she said, well, we would really like to have you. We're having an ice cream social. We do devotion for about 15 minutes, and then the rest of the time we just sit around and talk and have fun. And it would be this coming Thursday. And then she said, and I would love for you to go to church. I do children's church every other Sunday, but I'm off. I'm not doing it this Sunday. It's my Sunday off. I'll come by and pick you up and take you to church with me, so you don't have to sit by yourself. And I'm like, I'll let you know, da-da-da-da-da. And then I just kept going back to, so tell me, what else have you been doing? Tell me about your grandkids. I hear they're older. Your husband told me that your daughter moved next door to you into your grandmother's house, or his mom's house. And I said, my daughter, we were just going back and forth. I was asking her personal questions. And she kept going right back to coming to church. And I told her I would think about it. So then Saturday night, after, I'm Saturday nighting, rolling my coins in my pajamas, I get a text from her. Do you want me to come pick you up for church in the morning? Hadn't texted me anything else. It was so nice talking to you. I'm so glad that we are caught back up with each other. We need to do something together one day. No, she didn't say anything like that. Never. She just said, do you want me to come pick you up for church on Sunday? I said, no, thank you. I said, you're so sweet, but no, thank you. And then she said, did you get my message? Are you about the ice cream sundae party? Are you going to come? We would love to have you. And then she said another one of our friends said she would love to have you there. And that just burnt me up, y'all. It burnt me up inside like fire. It didn't turn into being sweet anymore. It just really pissed me off. I mean, I did have a private service for my husband on purpose. It was just family members only. Graveside, me, my children, their spouses, my grandchildren, of course my Aunt Debbie, she's like my sister, and my husband's siblings were the only people that were supposed to be there. Private. I didn't want to do any thank you for coming, thank you for coming. But I had people that have been in my lives for many, many years. People from high school. Technology's so easy. Even if you don't have someone's phone number, if you have Facebook, they can private message you. They don't have to put it out on where everybody can see. People reached out to me telling me how sorry they were to hear about my loss, and is there anything I can do for you, or I'm praying for you. You have the websites that you go to with your funeral home, and you can leave all of those things, right? But the people that I'm talking about that would love to have me come, and the people they mentioned that would be there was only one, and she's been a rock. I mean, she's reached out. She reached out when she found out that my grandson was sick. I mean, she's reached out about everything, and she knows how to do it. She's got my phone number because she reached out. And she's checked in on me, but she has never missed a Sunday in a face. This person's never missed a Sunday of church, probably since she was born, actually. Maybe having babies. And she's never pressured me to come back like that, She just is she's a true person, and she reached out to ask me how I was doing. And she's legitimately praying for me. I can almost hear her making sure I get prayed for, And we were not the type friends that we hung out with our kids at the park, like the other two. Because the other two, we would make strawberry daiquiris and let the kids play in the backyard. You get what I'm trying to say? But no, I've had several people that I went to church with that did just a few, that took the time to reach out to me and ask how I was doing. And that's what I told the funeral director. People that truly care about me will get in touch with me, People that truly cared about my husband will find a way to leave a message on your message board to let me know or get in touch with me. They do not have to come to visitation and me have to sit there and listen, talk to somebody I really don't know, and act strong and say, thank you for coming, thank you for coming, thank you. I told him I just didn't have it in me. Thank you. I'm so sorry about your loss. Thank you so much. Your husband was a good man. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I did not have that in me. I know my husband was a good man. You get what I'm saying? I think sometimes people feel obligated to go through those motions, but I didn't see how that was going to help me. And so, or my family, they didn't either. So we decided to do private. But my whole point of this whole rant is she didn't reach out to me when my husband died. She did not reach out to me at all. I was trying to reconnect a little friendship that we had, thinking that we could go eat lunch together. I would think, invite me to eat lunch and then say, Thursday we're doing this. It would be fun. Come with us. That would be better. No, the first thing out of her mouth was invite me to church. I had to keep redoing the conversation, like get it going on another way. And then she'd bring it right back to church. And then the two texts, church, church. You know, I ended up lying to her and told her I was out of town. I was in my bed at that point. And called my best friend and said, this is really getting on my nerves. She didn't reach out to me when my husband died and invite me to do anything. But now that her husband saw me at happy hour at a bar drinking a beer and eating some French fries and my daughter eating some chicken next to me, I bet he left that part out. I guess I need saving. I don't know. So whenever I did. I just flat out lied and told her I was out of town. I'm out of town. I don't know if I'll be back in town by Thursday. Because she said, what about the ice cream party on Thursday? And so I said, I should have told her. I was going to text her because she said, have fun. And I almost texted her back, yes, I'm having a great time. I'm drinking a margarita with my boyfriend. And I was on the phone with my best friend then. And we were laughing. I said, that'll get them talking, you know. Get them talking. And then we even started laughing, saying, no, I'm sitting on a bar stool drinking a margarita with my sugar daddy. With my new sugar daddy. We had it going. And I said, but my Saturday night plans were counting coins, and I'm in my bed watching already, and it's only 8 o'clock at night. But no, they should have reached out. Why wait? It's been 1 year and 5 months. 1 year and 5 months. And they're now reaching out to invite me to an ice cream sundae. I've got to bring an ice cream topping to go on top. And you know what else she told me? And this is why I left the church. I mean, we're talking about the biggest, oldest, biggest church right smack down in the middle of our town. You can see the steeple. Anywhere, you know, right time you hit the city limits, you can see it. It's got the chimes that play every hour. You can hear them all over town. The biggest parking lot, you know, the biggest campus, the biggest church, the biggest, like we have the biggest children's building ever. It was state of the art when we built it whenever I was there. Awesome. Too beautiful. She said they stopped having Sunday school. But they finally talked them into bringing Sunday school back for the kids. And I said, do you mean to tell me they stopped having Sunday school for children? That would have been the last part of ministry that I ever stopped. I can understand. I mean, I even asked my friend, I said, when you went to the little country church that she loved, I said, did they have Sunday school? And she's like, yes, with one child. And I said, exactly. How in the world do you stop having Sunday school? And I said, that was the reason I left. I could tell it was not going in the right direction. The last thing I would have stopped would have been Sunday school. The last part of ministry that I would have ever put a stop to would have been Sunday school. I don't care if it was one child there. If there were no children there, I would still have someone sitting in that building in case someone showed up late. That floored me. That's definitely not the church I'm going to go back to. It could be wonderful. It's just not meant for me. But I'm just telling you guys, because I am a Christian. I'm not the best Christian, and I never claimed to be. God is what got me through my husband dying. If you've ever watched any of my previous videos, you know that. The only thing that got me through was doing Bible study for about 2 hours every single morning of my life. And also doing it again at night before I went to bed. Honestly, I probably put in 4 or 5 hours a day in the Bible. And I'm not exaggerating. And I feel things in my heart. I don't feel like that building is where God lives. He does live there, but that's not the only place he lives. And I'm like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I promise you, I've had several people who they said would be at this ice cream social, right? They had loved ones to die after I quit going to church. And you know what? I reached out to them personally. I didn't do it on the funeral home web page. I went personally, messenger, and talked to them. And they responded back. I also left a message on the message board at the funeral home too, just in case. But no, I really reached out to them personally. Not in a big way, not a way to get a pat on my back. But I would never, ever push somebody to go like that to go to church. Mm-mm. Especially if they're church members. Like, my letter is still there. You know what I mean? I didn't expect them to do anything because I wasn't an active member. You know, like, I didn't expect them to want to cook and have us there after the funeral services and all that. Which they would have done if I'd called and said, you know, I want my husband to have a church funeral. And then all the women, I guess they still have those programs. They would have had lunch following the funeral if I wanted. But, of course, that's not what I wanted. So anyway, my thing is that don't do that. If somebody that you know that you go to church with and you hadn't seen them in years because they quit going to church, and then their spouse died a year and 5 months ago, and you were used to hang out and be kind of friends. I mean, used to be friends. Like, we hung out together. You know, like grilled out at night. Families. You know, I would think that you would invite them to eat lunch. Like, let's go grab lunch. I may say no. I may not be there yet in my grieving journey. But, okay, 3 months from now, if you really want me to go to your church, invite me to lunch first. Don't invite me to an ice cream social that I have to go to the grocery store and pick up an ice cream topping. You know? I mean, she told me they'll have the ice cream, but we need to bring toppings to share with everybody. They should have enough money at that church to be able to buy ice cream and toppings. I mean, that's just crazy. I guess nobody's donating money, so they're trying to get more people. Y'all get as many people as you come. We've got to get our whatever up. Well, get it up by being a good person. You know, send a little message. Yeah, I went to church with her for years. Our kids grew up together. That breaks my heart. I'm going to send her a little message. I heard from people I hadn't heard from in years. People that I didn't think would do it. They touched my heart. It made me think more about when people die. Like, you know how sometimes you think, I don't know them that well to send them a message like that. Send the message. If you're feeling it, if it hits your heart that it's sad for you and you're feeling for them, let them know. You don't have to go see them. They don't want to see you personally. But let them know. If you can find their address, send them a card. Cards meant everything to me. Somebody that's going to take the time and write you a sympathy card and mail it to you, that's good. You know, that's a good thing. You know, just send them a message. Like, if you're serious about grabbing a cup of coffee, just do it. Say, 2 months later, when the dust has settled and the noise is so quiet now, send that person a message and just invite them to have a cup of coffee, But don't just push them and shove them and try to get them back through church and not even try to be their friend first, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it did rub me the wrong way. It really did. But other than that, being alone this weekend was good. That happened Saturday night. It was just enjoyable. It was a good sabbatical to be away from my family and cook. I cooked some beans and rice. I love field peas and rice. I did cook a Tostitos pizza. But I had other little things I could cook if I wanted to. I didn't do DoorDash, which is a good thing. And then something else happened yesterday that really irked me. But I can't go into it. But it irked me really bad. But it's okay. So I decided I needed to stay in this weekend. God was telling me, girl, you need to stay by yourself because everything's going to really irk you and your mouth might really get you in trouble. And it will. My mouth can, I guess. I was nice. I did lie, though. I feel bad about lying. I just said I wasn't in town. Next time, though, if I do decide to lie again, I'm going to make it better than that. I am going to be sitting somewhere drinking a margarita, right? 1 margarita, 2 margarita. I don't know. Whenever I was on the phone with my friend and I said, drinking a margarita with my sugar daddy or my boyfriend, I said, sorry, Sid. I don't mean that. And I said, but you would have laughed too. And he would have laughed. He would have laughed, especially when I said my sugar daddy, because he would be like, he would say, well, I need a sugar mama too. We'll still be, like, if you ever do, like, make sure it was always a joke. Like, if you ever decide to have a sugar daddy or anything on the side, you better make sure he's got lots of money to pay our bills or so we can go on vacation. Just a joke. You know what I mean. So I told him, I said, you would be laughing too. He would have had a good time with that joke. But yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. But yep, I had a great weekend. Great. Stuffed my envelopes. I counted all my money that I'd been saving. I'm proud of myself. I think that video's out. I have saved, using my envelopes. I don't even know what I did with that. Oh, here it is. I have saved total in all of my little binders, and there's more in there now because I stuffed again yesterday. All my binders that I have, all of them. This is my high priority for my taxes and my house insurance. This is the fun one. This is for my vacation and adventures and maybe buying some toilet paper, I think is in here, personal care. Oh, I think my clothes one's in there too. Sorry, y'all. This one is, well, that's not important. And this one is for my children that I save all their birthday and Christmas money, my grandchildren and children. And I did not even count my savings binder. That wasn't even included. I got to empty it out. It had 300 and some odd dollars in it. And that's not even included. But as of Saturday, I think it was Saturday, May 2nd. No, I think I did it on April 31st, April 30th, because I said, you know what, we're starting the 4th month. I want to see how good I've done, so I'll motivate myself to keep going. Because when you're stuffing $5 a week in envelopes, I mean, ultimately, the whole thing is my savings account, right? It's just a trickery of the brain. No, I was like on a very fixed, tight $3,000 a month budget where my car insurance and house insurance is 1.5 months of my income. I have managed, drum roll please, $4,310. That's pretty good. 3, 6, 9, 12. Out of $12,000, I have saved $4,310. I've paid all of my bills. I've went on a vacation with my daughter for her wedding. I spent a good amount of, not like a wedding money, but I gave her money for her wedding and saved up money to give her some more. And I spent money while I was there. The hotel was over like $330, and then, food there, back, all of the things. I've lived a little bit of life. I even went to the beach with my Aunt Debbie for 3 days. I'm looking on my calendar to see. I even paid for my dog to get her teeth cleaned, remember? Although I had money saved up from the year prior. You got to understand. I did have money saved from doing this last year. This is my second year. But this year only, I have saved $4,310. And that's not even including what I just stuffed last week. So there. I'm excited. And I think I'm going to keep on my little envelope stuffing journey. And I did record myself rolling the coins. I don't know if I'm going to post that video or not. I might. I've got it. If I decide to post it, I will. But it's not that, But I'm back, y'all. I did sell something on eBay. I've got to go pick it up. I took this morning off. My granddaughter was out of school today. The school wasn't closed. She stayed home from school today. They had a bad night sleeping. Bad night, from what I understand. But we all ate lunch together. And so I didn't have to go pick her up from school, so I came home. Normally I wouldn't be home right now. And I'd be sitting in that car line still. And I said, well, I'm going to touch base with my friends on Facebook not on Facebook, on YouTube, and give them an update of my being alone, home alone. It was very good. Honestly, if you're grieving, it's good for you. I highly recommend it. Maybe not so much in the beginning, but you need it. You need time by yourself in your own head, in your own pace. You do not need to go here or there or there. Just because, I was invited to eat lunch by several of my children and dinner, and I told them no, thank you. I did do Sunday because I don't have the opportunity to see that grandson like I do my grandchildren next door, because they both have full-time jobs, and I don't live right next door to them. So yeah, I don't mind going out to the country anyway and hanging out just for a few hours. So when he invited me to eat lunch, I jumped right on that and spend time with my grandbaby. Yeah, I jumped on it. But no, take time for yourself. It's okay to shut down, and it's definitely okay to tell people no thank you and no, and not feel bad about it. And I think, honestly, without hurting someone's feelings, I think it's okay if they keep on and on and on to tell them, no thank you, I'm out of town. I could have been out of town in my head, right? I don't know. Maybe I should have just said, no thank you, I'm not interested. I don't know. But then it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm not going to the ice cream social. And I'm not making an excuse either. I mean, you could have invited me to do something a long time ago. And it didn't have to be church on Sunday, church on Thursday, church on Wednesday. And never once want to do anything with me by myself. That's mean. Like, why can't we go eat lunch and then go to an ice cream Sunday prayer group on Thursday? We can do both, right? I don't know. I just don't get it. I do not get it. But anyway, it's good to chat with you guys. Leave me a thumbs up. Subscribe, please. And tell me what has gotten on your nerves, especially if you're grieving or you've already grieved. What was the thing that got on your nerves that people did? Because I know it's part of the grieving process of things that are going to rub you the wrong way. And I know I've probably rubbed so many grieving people the wrong way because it's uncomfortable for everybody. Nobody knows what to say, you know. I get it. I'm sure she did not mean to hurt my feelings at all, and she would be mortified if she knew that it rubbed me the wrong way. Because she's really a nice girl. I'm not talking smack about her. No, she really is a nice girl, and I really would have gone and had coffee or lunch with her. And I probably would have, if she invited me to go grill out at their house, I probably would have gone. Because she was always sweet. And always sweet. Not like we didn't drink together. Every now and again, I think we would have like one pitcher of daiquiris and everybody sip on it. But very rarely was there even alcohol included. So, anyway. And I don't have to drink alcohol. But that picture that I posted as my thumbnail of me holding the beer, I think there's a picture of me and my friend, and we're both holding our beers for my birthday. And she posted it. I bet she saw that picture. And said, oh my goodness, she was at J. Michael's, my husband saw her, and now she's drinking again. And that's probably the only 2 times I've drank since I don't know. I didn't drink at my daughter's wedding or afterwards. Yeah, I had a few beers the night before. Nothing that even gave you a tipsy because I was steaming clothes. Literally steaming clothes. I didn't have time to get a buzz off of a beer. But anyway, y'all have a happy day. And I will talk to you later. I think I was 78 subscribers. I really want to get to 80. And I really want 100. That will really make my day. Y'all have a great day. Bye. Talk to you later. Oh, let me leave you with this Bible verse. I forgot. May the Lord bless you and protect you. And may the Lord smile down on you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. And that's Numbers 6, 24 through 26. Y'all have a great day. Bye.